There are days where people have electricity for 4 hours in 24 hours. Some people have 8 hours, and then those people who have 8 hours are like, oh, my neighborhood, we have power. And then some people have maybe 12 hours, and you rarely ever hear of any neighborhood at all in Nigeria where they consistently have 24 hours electricity. It's very, very rare. So how can we solve some of these problems? I like to talk about my alma mater, Ahmadu Bello University, where I attended school. And I like the fact that when I was in ABU, I learned of the hydroelectric generating plant that we had. So we had a dam in this school, and we're generating electricity, and the electricity was used to power the community around it, power the university community first, and then the communities around it. And it was such a beautiful model to learn about how the ingenuity of students and lecturers brought together this thing that was saving the community and powering the community and making it easier for people to live their lives. So I think that model can be adopted by every university first. If your university is, big enough, federal university, even if it's a small university, if the goal is just to power the university community, you would have won to some extent, right? So, and dams are usually man-made, so you may not necessarily need to be close to a body of water. But then if you're close to a body of water, you would have a plus, right? So if every university does this, it becomes a plus for the nation. And the good thing is, universities can now sell some of that electricity to their neighboring community and generate income for the university. Such a great model that can be adopted by every university. But then let's go to state governments. Yes, our electricity is supposedly privatized. Our state governments can go into partnerships with these private companies in order to generate electricity. I have lived in Kaduna, lived in Adamawa, lived in Lagos, and lived in Abuja in terms of really living in places. And I can say for a fact, Adamawa has the sun shining so bright. In fact, the transport system in Adamawa is called Adamawa Sunshine. Just tell you how much of the sun is there. People who come from other parts of the country will tell you Adamawa is like 50 naira away from hellfire because of how hot it is. So how can the Adamawa state government channel the solar energy that they have, regardless of what is happening, to generate electricity? It's just simple. Create solar energy generation plants and create electricity. China is a good example of these plants. In fact, they're so good that they make panda faces with their solar panels and whatnot. Adamawa can make maybe fried and no faces or what have you, but it's getting started so that they are generating electricity. And they can then say, okay, Gombe State, which is close to Adamawa State, Borno State, which is also close, Yobe State, which is close. You can say these 4 states have similar climate. Let us come together and generate electricity and sell to maybe the other states around us. This is a way to generate electricity, one, and to generate internally generated revenue, which is good for them. Now, places like Kebbi, Zamfara are very, very windy. That's another way to generate electricity. I mean, we watched The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, and he harnessed the wind to get water, but also the wind can be harnessed to get electricity. So states that are very windy like that can decide that, oh, let us generate electricity using wind energy, and then, get our internally generated revenue and also get our electricity for our people. They can go into partnership with each other in order to get this going. Or they can even call people to their state to say, look, let's partner as either the private companies that are already running in Nigeria or international companies that may want to invest in Nigeria and get them in. That's what a business development officer would want to do. Then I think that we need to gradually phase out generators except for emergency situations like when there are power outages, like national or state level power outages, or when maybe during a natural crisis. Thankfully, we don't have those kind of crises like tornadoes, blizzards, and the things like that here, but that the generators should be the second option. I mean, getting 24-hour electricity is not something that I think is possible. Again, I always say that there are things I say and it looks like I'm idealistic, but I feel like these are simple things that can be done, because the ripple effect of having these things in place is so much more beneficial to the government first, and then the people second, if we look at it in the grand scheme of things. So I believe that people will pay for electricity if you provide it. Let me give you an example. I have a friend who runs a salon, and before she started running her salon, she was paying, I think, maybe 5,000 or 10,000 naira as her electricity bill. And then after a while, the bill, when she started running it effectively, her bill went up to almost 30,000 naira. And she didn't change. She didn't stop paying. She continued to pay because she needed the electricity, and the electricity was provided for a reasonable amount of time for her neighborhood. So it was simple for her. The same thing with me. My electricity bill used to be 1,000 naira. That was just all I paid per month. It was 1,000 naira. And when my bill went up to 5,000 naira, I continued to pay because I needed the electricity. And so people want electricity. People need electricity. And if you provide it, people will pay for it. I don't think it's idealistic. I think it's realistic. So let's provide the power and see Nigeria begin to develop and improve on so many fronts. What do you think we can do to generate power for Nigerians as communities, as a state, as a country, and even as a region? Because I know that Nigeria is generating power for Niger, so that is an inter-country kind of partnership. So how can we generate power in a way that is effective for everyone? That is something I haven't mentioned. I'd like to hear from you and learn from you. That's all on this episode today. Please listen to the end of this video to find out ways that you can reach me. I am across social media, and trust me, I'm eager to learn about other ways to improve this conversation. And I really want to hear from you and learn from you. It's hugs and kisses from Ramat. Bye.